I'm late. It's been a long minute, y'all. I haven't seen you in a minute. While we wait on people to come on in and find us. Get one of my cutting boards. I'm gonna make chicken soup tonight. And wouldn't you know, I planned all day for this, and I still have not gotten accomplished to get ready for y'all. So, it is what it is. We'll make it by. We'll talk about my trip I've had. I know it's been really, really cold for all of you. It was not what you might imagine a trip to the Caribbean to be. I had a cold week last week too. But we made it. We had what fun we could have. Somebody sent me a new scraper, and I'm going to get it out and use it tonight. Hadn't even taken it out of the packaging. Get that off. If I can. I'm a little sniffly, so I thought chicken soup would be good. I know we've made this before. Everybody has their own little method of doing things. But we're gonna make it work as best as we can. I'll try to, let me put on my glasses. I'll try to read your questions and stuff. Might have to pull you a little bit closer, but when I do that, you can't see what I'm doing. So if I'm sounding out of breath, it's because I've gotten this old congestion that has crept up in here on me, and anything just kind of gets me out of breath. That's gonna get me out of breath running over there now after that stove. It's done this twice on me now. Should have used your spoon method. But the first time I came to check on it, I hadn't even turned the pot on. So that's why my chicken is not done yet. You ever done that? You think you're done, good to go, and then it didn't do what you wanted it to do, did it? Let me get me a swig of my Diet Dr. Pepper here. That chicken should be done, so let me get it up. That labored me. That piece will be easy. What I did was I took this out the freezer. And it might have been just a little bit frozen when I put it in here still. But I emptied another package of chicken tenders because I didn't think these 4 legs would make as much meat as I would want in my chicken soup. I might strain that out a little bit of junk in there. It came out. But there's our chicken. I am not taking that off the bone right now. I will tell you that for sure. Let me straighten you up here a little bit. There we go. I'm labored, y'all. It's the only way I know how to say it. Let me get something to put this in. I told y'all I'm not ready tonight. I am not ready tonight. But that's okay. What I want to do first is I like a little bit of potato in my chicken soup. And I know some people don't. Everybody has their own recipe. I'm just going to use this bowl that's already dirty here. That's from where we had popcorn last night. We sat around watching popcorn. Watching popcorn. What's wrong with me? Watching TV and made us some popcorn. Yeah, that scraper works really. That peeling didn't want to go. Wanted to scrape on in with me. I don't want to be a Mr. Potato Head. So, anyway, I apologize that one went on the floor. I'm supposed to go in the bowl so I can throw you away later. I'm going to have to scrape my carrots too. I've got big carrots. I thought I had little ones, but anyway, so I don't know that we've hung out since Christmas, January. We had all them ice storms around here. I was just so busy working the paying job that I didn't have time to get on and visit with you too much. I was making sandwiches on the go or eating out wherever I could eat out at. Whatever was good. I've even had a couple of nights that was just ramen noodles. And not the fancy kind either. So, that's okay. There we go. I'm just going to do one potato. I don't know why I like potatoes, but I like it in my chicken soup. I tried it that way. I like my childhood when my aunt would make chicken soup. And we would put whatever kind of starch we had. Sometimes it would be rice. Sometimes it would be noodles. Like a spaghetti noodle. Sometimes it would be an elbow noodle. And that's about how big I want it. Because you know, them potatoes, they be hot. They be hot, hot, hot. That car commercial that used to say, it's hot, hot, hot. You want me to sing for you? So anyway, that's got a couple of bad spots on it. Let me cut that off. Went on my cruise last week, get to Florida, and it was okay. But then when we woke up to get on that boat the next morning, I said, this isn't good. We had to get our jackets out that we wore from Tennessee to Miami. When we got on our jackets, we went on the cruise, we wore that. That was not a pool day, sitting around waiting for the boat to go. Usually you grab you some lunch and then go hang out by the pool. Those who want adult beverages can sometimes get a little carried away with them if you're not careful in that Miami heat, especially if you're not used to it. They didn't have to worry about that one that time. There wasn't hardly anyone outside by the pool. We found things to do inside that day. And, yeah, that's fine. Then we got to, if you've ever been on Royal Caribbean, they have their private island called Coco Cay. Coco Cay. And I love Coco Cay. It's one of my favorite spots. They've got a lot of things to do there now. When I first started going with Royal Caribbean, they didn't have anything to do there except lay on the beach. Now they've got some pools and things, almost like a little mini resort there that they let you. I'm still using my Christmas towel, but it's okay. That you can noodle around and be lazy. We sat on the beach for a little while, and then the water was cold. We put our feet in. I'm grabbing the carrots. I think all we got in was our little toes. And then we said, nope. We saw some people that were in the pool, and they were from Puerto Rico. And I said, no, if we're not able to do this, I don't know how you are, but they said, once you get in, it's okay. Well, I got my feet in. My feet never got warm again. So, we hung out there for a little while. Finally, I was just ready to go back onto the ship. We got in the hot tub where the water was hot. So Coco Cay was sunny, but the water was cold. And I think we got around 76, something like that. So then we rocked the next day. It wasn't bad. I've had it a whole lot worse, I'll tell you. Some people were a little freaked out. They had the little bags hanging around for people who maybe were getting a little sick. I don't get that sick, usually. But then, it was on that day that I looked at my friend Zach and I said, something's not right with me. And he touched my skin and he said, your skin is on fire. I said, I know. He said, I think it'd be better if you go lay down for a little while. I said, I think I'm going to have to because I'm getting a little dizzy on top of that. So I went and laid down and he continued to do whatever it is he does in Zach world. And then he came and checked on me. And he said, are you going to dinner? I said, I think I can make it to dinner. So we made it to dinner. But something wasn't right. Didn't never settle my stomach. I got this sniffle I did break a little fever that one night, and I felt better the next day. But when I woke up and got to moving, got me a hot shower, felt like I couldn't get that water hot enough. So that was my trip last week. Not Cancun. Cozumel is where I was at in Mexico, and it was cloudy, 60-some degrees, and rain in and out. Now, that was our beach day, our planned beach day to go to one of the resorts. We sat under the umbrella with a towel wrapped around us, trying to stay warm. And I don't remember the name of it. If you'll ask me when you go, I'll try to look it back up for you. It's something, it's the national park in Cozumel is what they call it. But the road to get there, you need to put you some padded underwear on, is all I can say, because that road was rough, man. We bounced around, and the seats were hard. And when he told us it was going to be an hour, and I thought, surely they're not going to let us bump like this for an hour on something we paid for. And then you get to this resort, it's nothing fancy about it. You got to pay for everything. So when I say resort, it's not an all-inclusive. They gave us this tequila tasting. And then when he named the prices, we all said, okay, that's enough. We don't need to even taste this anymore. I don't even like tequila that much. But I tried it because I was there. But I tell you, it was smooth. Now, how they sold it to you was a lot of the commercial tequila brands. They basically use the same, they call it a leaf. I don't know what kind of leaf it is. I'd have to look that up for you. But anyway, they use the extract or whatever for so much of the product that they're making. And this company just uses it one time, which makes it a little more pure and a little more authentic. So they're only getting a couple of bottles as opposed to big barrels like we would get commercially in one of the stores. Anyway, we went back, stopped at some Mayan ruins. They were ruined. I guess that's why they call it that. We got back on the ship, we had some fun. But then I think that weather kind of messed us up again. We started feeling kind of bad again. And we laid around the next day and got up, and it was another sea day. Then we got home and hung out by the airport for a day. DoorDashed some food to the airport because their food was so expensive. We just Ubered us a driver out of there to go sit down somewhere, but we'd have to haul our luggage with us. So, what all did you do last week? My friend, when I told her it was cold, she responded. She said, it's hard for me to feel sorry for you, Kyle, right now because it's 9 here. So I can understand that. These little pieces like this, I think I should make them a little bigger. They might just disintegrate all up into nothing. I think I'll save the rest of that. We'll make some salads here. And I didn't feel like going to the store after the food ministry yesterday. And I saw this bag of pre-cut celery sticks. And I grabbed that because I knew what I was going to do with y'all today. So, we'll use this. If I can get in it. I'll try to take the strings out, but I might not be able to. It's so little. I'll be working all day on this. They're getting a little bad too. Yeah, I'm going to throw that out. Just going to cut the bad ends off of this. That's probably why we had it at the ministry. Starting to look bad. The grocery stores can't sell it, so we can give it away. There's one string. This won't be so bad with the strings because I'm going to cut it up so little. And it won't be that bad. Plus the way we're going to cook it too. We'll cook it till it's soft. There we go. Let's get out some of these big ones. Let's see what y'all are talking about. Cold and sick. Yeah, I'm cold and sick. What? Are you feeling better? I am feeling better. I went to the food ministry yesterday and then hung out with some friends after that last night. Played a little bingo. If you're ever in Sevierville, go by the Hut on a Monday night. See what's going on. Starts at 7. And then today I've just kind of done laundry and moved some things around, and I've got a new office in Sevierville I'm moving into, so I've gathered up some of the things that I have here at home that I wanted to put in there. So let's see how much celery we're gonna get here. Probably gonna have to open up one more of those things at least. Do you like a lot of celery? I do chicken, soy sauce, ginger garlic, cook them, and jalapenos, fried onions. What are you making? Chicken soup? Maybe y'all have your own conversation going on that I don't know about. Oh, let's see. What happened? I lost my belt. I wish I had a good story to tell you. I always say that. I wish I had a good story to tell you about why something weird has happened to me. But this time, all I can tell you is for those of you who've been on, it's nothing sexual. I guess it is kind of sexual, but it's not. For those of you who've been on Royal Caribbean, if you've ever played a game called The Crazy Quest, they ask, it's an adult themed game, and so they ask for some things that are supposed to be in the room. So for example, they might ask for your C-Pass, which is your card that you're using to pay for things while you're on the boat. They might ask for currency, foreign currency. Well, this one, they wanted, how many it was, men's belts. So I pulled my belt off and threw it down there at them. Here, you can have it. I never got my belt back. I got a belt back, but it was not my belt. And so I don't know where my belt went. I went to Lost and Found. They don't have it. We looked all over the room where we had this event. So I'm minus a black belt. And I don't like the one that I have used while I've been back. It's gotten a little rough. So I'm gonna have to go buy me a belt. That'll be okay. If that's the worst thing that happened, we're probably doing okay. Probably the worst is getting sick here. So, let's see here. That game show though, they do so many things. They ask the women to come down and show us a piercing in a private area. You wouldn't believe how many women are willing to go down there. And a bunch of people they don't know. And I don't even want, as a man, flip my shirt up like that. But they did it. It's real funny and fun and games. But if you get sensitive to some of it, that would not be the game for you, I tell you. And don't take your kids for sure. They usually get a man, they ask for the most muscular man to go down and take his shirt off. And then they give you time to make him the prettiest beauty queen contestant on the ship. So that gets funny when you see men you wouldn't expect walking around in dresses and lipstick and makeup, parading around to win. And you know what? The funniest part is, What do you win? Bragging rights. All you get's little metal thing. Only 2 people gets it. And you get bragging rights. It's not like they give you a bottle of champagne or a watch or something from the shops upstairs. No, you don't get anything. That's what makes it even more funny that people are willing to do such things for nothing. But if you're ever on a Royal Caribbean ship and you can take a joke and you can laugh, go see those people. Where did I get my celery? I got it from the food ministry. That's why it's a little rough, but it's okay. Good to eat. As expensive as food is, can't waste any of it. All right, my pot's still over here. See how that looks. That's just a hunk of chicken. I think that'll be okay. All right. Sometimes it gets a little gunky looking. I don't know why. I'll boil that for a little while. We're already 23 minutes in. Maybe I should have straightened it out. I found some gunky looking stuff. Vols are playing, or the Vols winning. I'm not watching, and I don't have cable up here, so I don't really have a way to watch any of that stuff. They sent a thing here and said they were running a sale on cable. I thought, do I want it? I don't watch that much TV. I wanted it for a split second. Then I remembered, I've got that Friendly app. We'll cut it this way this time. It's just a little piece of onion. I like onion in it. For those of you who are new followers, this is my Aunt Nancy's recipe. The only thing different she would have done is she would have cooked her chicken last night, let it gel together, scoop off all that fat, and then brought it back to a boil today. I'm not going to do that. What have y'all been doing? I haven't been able to talk to you. It's been hard for me to even sit down and reply to your comments and messages. I do miss reading all of your messages. Makes your day go by sometimes when you get to read other people's stuff. And I don't want to say problems. I don't want to say problems. It's not always a problem. It's just whatever's on your mind, you know? That's a little tough. It's weird. That's a tough little cute chicken chinta, but now it's wanting to fall apart. Guess you never know, my loves. So we'll have a little bit of white meat and a little bit of dark meat in it. So I missed all the snow. Mom sent me a picture. I think I shared it on Facebook with you all, of the snow in Myrtle Beach. Mom sent her picture from out in Loris. The church looked pretty. That made a good picture. If it wasn't cloudy, I think it would have made an even better picture. In the background, you know? It just kind of looked gloomy, dreary. But the old country church is still standing. Played a many a pianos services in there. And we had a good little old time with that church. I imagine they still do. I just don't get there. I can't get there. I was talking to Mom earlier, and Daddy's going to have a surgery. He's got to have his knee replaced. And I said, well, I was thinking about coming down. I want to go eat oysters one more time. Y'all like some oyster roast? Well, it's still oyster roast season down in South Carolina. Well, I was gonna slip down there. I found a couple of days that I can go, and I'll have 2 days. I'll have a day to drive, 2 days there, and then a day to drive back. And hopefully the weather's not bad. It's the only downfall to this time of the year. I guess in the summer you could have thunderstorms though. You never know about that. But anyway, she said, you can come this date and you can help me with your daddy. I said, is he gonna be that bad? I said, but I guess you'll need a break to go do whatever it is that you want to do. And someone will have to sit there with him because he can't go, can't move. I didn't think about how's he gonna pee, because we can't do that for him. Oh. I'm over sniffling and sneezing and then can't breathe. That's just bleh. Don't y'all hate it too? Oh, I didn't tell y'all what happened to me on the flight back. This is the weirdest, craziest thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life. And I never have trouble flying. We started ascending into the air, and the higher we got, my ear, I could just feel the pressure pulling into my ear. Maybe it's because I was a little congested or whatever, and you know, the pressure from all that could have been causing some ear problems. My ear, in this, it started in this right one. The left one just closed up completely. I couldn't hear anything out of that. The right one sounded like, do you remember the old school static on the TVs where it goes, that's what my ear did. And I jumped, and the lady beside me said, are you okay? I said, I don't know. My ear just made the weirdest thing, like I was inside of an old radio, transistor radio or something, and the static just took off on me. And she said, no, maybe you're not okay. Oh, no, maybe you're not okay. I don't know what she thought she was going to do for me. Unless she was making sure I wasn't going to go crazy and try to kill her. She was going to get those flight folks to come and take care of me. We had the same lady all the way down, on the way down and on the way up. That's always nice. I asked her, she said, no, I don't think I worked that day. She was nice to us. She took care of us. She said, what's wrong with y'all? Y'all were a little more active on the way. I said, honey, A, we're tired, and B, we're kind of sick. She said, y'all are not the same two people. Y'all went down to that cruise all excited, ready to go, and now y'all just sitting there calm, and she's like, I couldn't even give you a water today. And I guess in Mexico, maybe you're not supposed to drink the water. I don't know. But I said, I'll have a glass of ice water. I love ice water. Just put ice in a glass and some water. That's what's in that Yeti right there. And I will love it. And I can't get enough of it. In fact, in my car all day long, if you see me riding around, you see me pick up my glass, whatever kind of cup it is I got in my car, that's what's in it, water. With ice. Now, when the ice is gone, I don't want it anymore. Can't hardly drink it. That's when I go for the Dr. Pepper. We got to have a little bit of bad in our life, don't we? So, yeah, I'm hoping that this chicken soup helps us to feel better. My ear, the next day, both had finally just closed up. And it was like I was talking to myself. Because I could hear my own self, the vibrations from my voice. Which was a little rough on the morning show, by the way. I do know that. I apologize for those of you who had to watch. You had to watch. we made it. And I took everything that I could read about. I had Mucinex and Advil, and I finally took some Tylenol PM when I got home that night. And I just laid in bed and I watched some documentaries. Do y'all like documentaries? Now you have to be kind of a nosy person to want to get in there and know some of this stuff, because I don't want to say it's scary, but it does open your eyes to certain things. And of course I do a lot of government documentaries and people and all that. Let me wash my hands. But that night I watched two documentaries that I found really interesting. One is about how the dollar, that was called the Age of Easy Money, is what it was called. And that was basically this period that we just came out of, before it became so hard for us to afford everything. They're calling it the Age of Easy Money. And they're explaining what happened with some of the stuff, and how it maybe kind of created, we're not getting political, we're just getting into economist type stuff, and how some of the things that were happening way back in 2008, and maybe even the early 2000s, created some of the issues that we have now with the runaway inflation, why things cost the way they cost. But they also explained why those leaders did what they did at the time. It got us going again. Who knows how bad it would have been had those policies not have gotten the country going again. So the question becomes, did we fix it temporarily and continue to fix it temporarily, and are we now at the broken point? But then all the economists said we're not at the broken point, it's going to get worse before we can have the overall correction to get better. If you believe that. I'm not an economist, so I just have to learn from the people who are. Trickle down. They call it trickle something. Not trickle down economics, but trickle something. Alright, the only thing that I know y'all are not going to be interested in, that I'm going to put in here, I'm going to throw a little bit of salt because I didn't add any. I'll test it as I go. I'm going to add, my aunt always threw in cayenne pepper because it's good for inflammation. So we're going to throw in some cayenne pepper, and then in the very, very end we'll throw in some parsley flakes. Now if I had fresh parsley, that's what we'd be using. I don't. I'm going to throw in a little bit of silly salt. It's garlic, salt, and onion from Paula Deen's. And that's that. That's how we're going to leave this. Oh, I think I'm going to throw in a bouillon cube. How is that broth? It looks pretty good. Let me get it just a little bit richer here. Hang on, I'll come back and talk to y'all. Got to dig at the very top. I'll let that do that. Okay, so we're talking about the economy. I don't really have an answer. I'm not an economist. But then the one that scared me, I watched this report. It looked like it kind of been outdated, but it went all the way back to the Richard Nixon era and some of his policies, and how it has weakened the actual value of the dollar. And I don't really know how to explain it, but let's just say that I hope that the people who have loaned us money do not call wanting their money, or we're going to be in trouble if that report is correct. That scared me. Makes you want to buy an island sometime and only invite like the 10 people you really, really like to come stay with you. 23-19 Kentucky. What did I say was good for inflammation? Cayenne pepper is good for inflammation. There's a whole lot of things. I got to find my book. Inflammation Nation is what it is called. And you can read all about different foods and different herbs and spices. I'm going to pull y'all closer so I can read your comments. I'm done with the cooking. Or the prep of it anyway. And Inflammation Nation is a good book that tells you about some of the things. But cayenne pepper is one of the best. If you can get some fresh peppers, fresh cayennes, that will be good. I even, if you want, I'll find it for you. I keep this all the time, and I usually take 2 a day. In the summer, it gets really difficult to do this because it just makes my body so hot, and you'll see little sweat beads coming out of my forehead. Maybe that's the bad stuff coming out, but I take these cayenne pepper pills, and this is 180 vegan capsules, 40,000 SHU dietarily supplement. Traditionally used to aid digestion and support circulation. It's recommended to take 1 capsule 3 times daily, preferably with food. You do have to take this with food. Okay? Now, it's not hot. I mean, you're going to swallow it with some water or whatever. But once it gets in the work in your body and it heats your body up, you'll feel it in there. Trust me. But it may do you bad. Sometimes it gives me a little bit of bad heartburn through here. That's why I say it's better to eat food with it. What am I drinking besides Dr. Pepper? That's water. That's that water jug that I keep on hand all the time. This over here's looking pretty good. I didn't know if I was going to get done in time. Where's that parsley plate at? Reaching all the way up. That's just the imitation, not the imitation, but the dried ones. But it'll be okay. It'll do what it's supposed to do. I don't know if the parsley is to give it any nutrients or if it's to give it something else. There's cumin, pink Himalayan salt, chili powder. There's the salt. I could probably get rid of that salt in that salt shaker there, and we won't have to put that back up there in the cabinet. There we go. We're cleaning things up here. Glad to see you back cooking. Hate that Jacob is leaving. I do too. You know, he texted me the other day and he said, hey, I need to talk to you before you go out of town. I thought it could be a schedule change. Like, hey, can we swap schedule or something? But I had a bad feeling he was going to tell me what he was about to tell me. So those of you in Louisiana, in the Lake Charles area, Jacob Durham is coming on back to see you. To the mornings. It's good that he's able to do that. I tell you, it is a scary time in local television. Some of you have, when I was on my cruise, a couple people found out what I did. Not necessarily from here, but, you know, we would get to talking about what we do. And they said, what do you think about these stations shutting down their weather departments? And I said, I think there's a concern that I have. I cannot, someone just said something about South Arkansas. I don't know anything about there. I've never been to South Arkansas. You know, so when it comes to terrain, forecasting, these microclimates that can happen, we've got probably 4 microclimates right here in our little Knoxville area. Because we've got Knoxville, what we call the valley. We've got the foothills of the mountains, which can have a different scenario. You've got the highest elevation of the Smoky Mountains, and while no one technically really lives there, it does impact travel. It impacts folks who want to go use the park for a hike. Some of our higher places, like Bluff Mountain, English Mountain, the very, very top, they could have snow and the rest of us have nothing. Then you've got the plateau area, which is the raised area that's a little flat, but they have a severe storm threat that happens there, a lot more so than the rest of us. And then our Kentucky areas that we cover, you're farther north, you're more susceptible to some of the cold and the snow than we would get in Knoxville, even by that 100-mile difference there. So when you get into local climates like that, it really, I think, is difficult for a broad national perspective to really tell you what's going on very close to home. So I think that's why local meteorologists are so important. And when you start moving them out, that could be some problem issues. And I know you all love your weather apps. I hear it all the time, the one that come on your phone, but that's not going to get you through a tornado or something like that. When you need someone to just tell you what's going on, where the storm is headed, what communities next need to be looking and paying attention to this thing. Maybe you're not under the warning, but we could give you the 10 minutes. Hey, if this thing continues on its path, the warning could get extended over you. So those are the things that are happening. It's scary, but the television business, it is an expensive business. It costs TV stations a lot of money to operate. And quite honestly, the advertising dollars have been divided out. We now have all these social medias. We're on Facebook. All those ads that companies are buying to be on Facebook, on TikTok, and all this other stuff. So the pie of money continues to get divided down, smaller and smaller. And so companies are having to figure out how to make it. I don't think we'll see the end of television. I do think that every company is going to find a different way to be sustainable and eventually try to stay as profitable as possible, because we do have to get paid. The profits aren't necessarily they're probably going in someone's pocket somewhere. I'm not going to go there, but at least it pays us to do what we do. Because we have to feed and pay the bills and keep the lights on, even at our own homes. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope that my friends that I don't know anyone personally who's lost their job, but we are hiring at Gray, where I work. We now have an opening, so we are a Gray station, yes. So we're hiring. We have openings all over in the company, and they try to do what they can to make as much money as possible while continuing to serve their communities. We don't have the staffing in Knoxville that I feel like we need, but we have what we can have and can afford, I guess you would say. Just as it costs you more to, you got to think about it this way, even in your own companies. It costs us more to buy toilet paper for our bathroom over there. It costs them more to buy toilet paper for the bathroom at work. So it's not just paying us more, and then all of that. You have to find ways to cut, and some of those inflationary things just are not changing. It costs more to heat and cool the building, and the water that's coming in, and they do supply us with a water station and the coffee, but all that's gone up too. And if they cut it out, we'll go, man, they got rid of our water. We got to bring our own bottled water now. So, all right, that smells good. We're good. We're gonna turn this down. I'm gonna get me a bowl out. We'll try it. Looking at it now, I wish I'd have had me a couple more carrots in there. But it is what it is. gonna do it like that for y'all to see how it turned out. Y'all know that's too hot for me to eat. I want to put a little more water in that. Let me do that. I like the juice. I mean, I hate the broth. To me is the best part. And I love chicken broth. I will just open a can and warm it up and eat that. Not eat it, but drink it. And so I'll enjoy that. And that's supposed to be very good for your gut too. Of course, a bone broth, a true bone broth would be good. I should have saved those bones and made some of that. I'm gonna buy us a whole roasted hen here, and I'm gonna make chicken salad out of it. We're gonna eat on it one night, chicken salad the next, and then I'm gonna cook the bones for a bone broth. Probably do that for the weekend. See if I can get some of this gunk cleared on out of myself. This is not Kyle, not the way I want it to be. That smells good. Y'all like my hair? I didn't even talk to y'all about that. I got it cut. The lady kind of talked me into it. But it's okay. It's a little more than I like to pay for a haircut and a color. But I did get a discount because I'm on the diamond status. I do have dessert, Trina. I didn't finish my thing, but this is what my Trina just commented. She made this pie. I had me a piece, and I was gonna I had a piece last night. Well, before we had the popcorn, and I'm gonna have me another piece here in just a minute. I'll eat that thing. I don't want to tell the neighbors. They might be knocking on the door wanting some of your pie. But anyway, I talked to the girl and I said, you know what? I'm going to embrace the fact that my hair is going to be this color right here eventually. I said, so let's start the process of toning it on down. You know, let's go ahead. Let me look old. Maybe that hot air is getting into my lungs like it needs to. And she said, most people want to look younger. I said, let's do it. And so we got the coloring thing out, and she matched the little patches, you know, up with the different colors. And this is how it turned out. The sides are pretty much white. And if you look closely, there's almost these pinkish, purplish tones that are in there. And maybe it's the skin. Someone said yesterday it might be your skin. But the rest of it's like this blonde color. So it didn't all go white like it was supposed to. It kind of made some different tones. I don't know what happened, but you know what? It'll always grow back. It might grow back all gray. If I had a picture of my Uncle Bob, he's as white as this right here. His head is that white. And I hope mine turns out like that because I think it's pretty. So, y'all want to try the soup? Try the soup. See if I got some of that flavor. Try the broth first. A little more salt. Just a little more salt. I do know that. There's that potato. I know it's not soaked up a lot of that flavor yet. It's so soft. Yeah, I'm gonna let it sit there for probably another 20 minutes before I get me a big bowl of it. It was so good. It was so good. I'm glad y'all like it. The hair. Had pork chops for dinner. That sounds pretty good. I've got some ground meat, turkey patties. Something else down there. That's what we're going to have the rest of the week. By the way, I'm going to put a poll in Cooking with Kyle in the broadcast channel. And I'm thinking, so that we can do this on the regular, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 o'clock. I will probably do one weekend day, probably Sunday afternoon. at like 2. And then any other videos I will just drop in between. But just on standard, Tuesdays, Thursdays, we can meet, we can talk, you can ask questions. I wish there was a way, you can always direct message me if you have a question or anything. You know. So, we're at 7:53. Cube steak gravy mac. Oh, I want to come over and visit with you now. I love it. I love cube steak. Do you put onions in it? I like to slice some onions up. I also like to put mushrooms in it sometimes. How was my cruise? It was a cruise. It was cold, so that kind of dampened things a little bit. But you know, we made the most of it. We had fun. We made some new friends. The folks that we were sitting with at dinner, they were just delightful. You can another page just for cooking. Maybe got. It's not another page just for cooking. It is a broadcast channel where I kind of share some recipes or maybe what I'm having for dinner or something like that. So you can find it, or I'll link it back in this video at the top once we're done here. Anyway, the cruise was good. We met some great people at dinner. A couple from New Jersey. I forgot where the other gentleman was from. Zach might remember. I don't remember. It was cool to get to meet people from different places. And then I met this other couple from Seattle, Washington. I think it was the last night I met them. I love the piano bar, and they were listening to the guy at the piano bar. And we got to talking, and I guess they're looking for somewhere to move to. They're just looking for that retirement spot. And I said, well, you should probably look at Tennessee because we have some rather medium to larger size cities, so there's things to do. You would have some of the services as you get older close by, but without a state income tax, your dollar will go further. You know, you find a house you like, or you might not like the city at all. So, well, I might have a new neighbor from Seattle, Washington. But they were just looking to get away where the weather was a little bit better. But one of their concerns was being close to their family, because the family's still there. But they were just looking to make things a little easier on them as they work towards retirement. Nina, no, it's not another cooking page. It's just the broadcast channel. I need to try Big Boy's Country Kitchen here in Newport. Really? You have to send me a message on that one. Please send me a message so I remember that. When I'm in Newport, I'm usually there for lunch. I'm usually in a hurry. And I know that I love the China One there because they're fast. I walk in the door, I order my food's right there. And sometimes I don't have a lot of time. So it just gets a little cumbersome to wait around for food. I know you have to wait. You want it fresh. You want it good. But I know that they whip up the stuff and get it to me quickly. So that's why I tend to go there. So I will have to give them a try. Prepare them for tornadoes. Prepare what for tornadoes? Oh. I don't have anything else to tell y'all right now. I'm glad to be back with y'all. We are going to visit more often. I might read y'all a book. I need to practice on y'all. Book reading season is coming. So some of the schools have already started calling and booking up for Read Across America Day. And I don't know where my book is at. I thought it was on my shelf with my computer, and it wasn't there. I'm like, what? Oh. So I didn't find that book, but I found a book, and I've ordered it off of Amazon. I've got to make sure it's approved for the schools, though. So I need to read that. I might read it to you. So you never know. We'll have a bedtime story with Kyle. We could do that. We could do that. You remember when Dolly did that during the COVID? We could have story time with Kyle at night. Part of the Kyle's Kids Club. We're just going to have all the stuff. I do want to have a kids club thing. I forgot what I was going to do while I was just standing here. I was going to make a salad and get ready for tomorrow. So those of you who join me on TikTok, I'll do that for you. We'll let the Facebook people go on. But Facebook, you can join me on TikTok as well. And y'all have a great evening. Yes, it's time for Andy. And you know what? We can have that on in the background while I do some other stuff, as opposed to Facebook that might block the content because of someone singing in the background. So y'all have a great day. Love you all. Please be blessed. And have a good day. Story time with Kyle. We're going to do that.